诶，很漂亮。Men's shoes. Men's shoes.
Before railways, highways, and modern ports, this canal helped move people, goods, grain, culture, and ideas across China. Today, Wayne and Pei Fen explore a surviving section of that ancient waterway in Hangzhou, where history is still visible in the bridges, stone paths, waterfront buildings, and daily life along the canal. The Beijing-Hangzhou Grand Canal is not just a canal. It is one of the biggest ideas ancient China ever turned into stone, mud, water, labor, and movement. Long before trains, highways, trucks, or container ships, this waterway helped connect northern and southern China. It stretched for about 1,794 kilometers, or roughly 1,115 miles, linking Beijing in the north with Hangzhou in the south. Britannica describes it as the world's longest constructed waterway, built to move grain and supplies from the rich agricultural regions of the Yangtze and Huai River valleys to the capitals and armies in the north. The canal's story begins more than 2,500 years ago, during the spring and autumn period, when rival states were fighting for territory, trade routes, and survival. The earliest sections were not part of one grand national project yet. They were local canals, dug for military transport, food supply, and control of waterways. Over centuries, these separate pieces slowly became part of something much larger. A canal may look peaceful today, with trees, stone bridges, and reflections on the water, but its origins were tied to power, logistics, and the hard business of moving people and goods across a huge country. The real turning point came during the Sui dynasty, especially under Emperor Yang, who ruled from 604 to 618. Around the early 600s, the Sui government pushed to connect existing waterways into a massive transportation network. This was engineering on a staggering scale. Imagine thousands upon thousands of workers digging, dredging, hauling earth, shaping banks, controlling water levels, and joining rivers that did not naturally flow together. UNESCO describes the Grand Canal as the largest and most extensive civil engineering project before the Industrial Revolution. But this was not just about impressive construction. It was about feeding power. The north often needed grain, while the south had rich rice-growing regions. The canal became a moving supply line. Barges could carry food, salt, timber, stone, taxes, soldiers, officials, merchants, letters, ideas, and even fashion. In a way, the canal was ancient China's superhighway, slower than a road today, of course, but far more efficient for heavy cargo in its time. One boat could move loads that would have taken many carts, animals, and drivers over land. By the 13th century, during the Yuan dynasty, the canal system had grown to more than 2,000 kilometers, or about 1,243 miles of artificial waterways, linking 5 of China's major river basins. This mattered because China was not just one landscape. It was rivers, plains, lakes, mountains, farm regions, capitals, and coastal trade zones. The canal helped tie those pieces together. It made it easier for rulers to control the empire, but it also helped ordinary towns along the route grow into busy places of trade, food, storage, repair, and travel. Hangzhou's section is especially interesting because this is where the canal reaches the softer, greener world of Jiangnan, the region famous for water towns, bridges, markets, gardens, and refined culture. Here, the canal was not only a transport route. It became part of daily life. People lived beside it, crossed it, worked on it, washed near it, traded along it, and built neighborhoods around it. The water carried grain and goods, but it also carried stories. Gongchen Bridge is remembered not only for its age and its position on the Grand Canal, but also for its more difficult modern history. On September 26, 1896, the area around Gongchen Bridge became connected with a Japanese concession in Hangzhou. For decades, the name Gongchen Bridge was closely associated with that foreign-controlled area, until it was returned after China's victory in 1945. During the War of Resistance against Japanese aggression, this canal district became part of the fighting. One of the plaques near the bridge records attacks near Gongchen Bridge in 1939, when Chinese troops and volunteer fighters struggled to retake nearby areas. In January of that year, Chinese forces briefly recovered the Gongchen Bridge area, were pushed back during a fierce counterattack, and then fought their way back again. Later reports also describe Chinese plainclothes troops entering the area and recovering nearby places such as Hushu and Daguan. So this bridge is more than a beautiful stone crossing over the Grand Canal. It witnessed trade, travel, foreign occupation, resistance, and recovery. Today, standing beside the canal in Hangzhou, it can be easy to miss how powerful this place once was. The water moves quietly, people stroll under the trees. Old bridges sit calmly over the channel. But beneath that peaceful surface is one of the great infrastructure stories in world history. The Grand Canal is more than an old waterway. It is a reminder that civilizations are built not only by emperors and armies, but by builders, boatmen, laborers, merchants, engineers, and families who kept life moving. One load, one bridge, and one bend in the canal at a time. Here we are at the boat dock, and the first thing you see is Gongchen Bridge in the background. Gongchen Bridge rises to about 16 meters or 52 feet at its highest point, giving it a commanding presence over the Grand Canal. It is regarded as the highest and longest ancient stone arch bridge in Hangzhou. Its classic stone arch construction is part of what makes it so impressive. The curved arches carry the weight down into the bridge supports and riverbanks. From a builder's eye, the beauty is in the combination of strength and grace, heavy stone, balanced curves, and a structure built to last for generations. We'll explore a little of the east side of the bridge here before we actually cross over to the west side to see the Chinese Fan Museum and other sites. Here at the foot of Gongchen Bridge, this structure is more than a shaded pavilion. It is a steel pavilion, built to protect and display a stone record of the bridge itself. The large characters on the central stone read Gongchen Bridge, while the surrounding inscription records its history and repairs. The pavilion may be modern, but the bridge it honors dates back to the Ming Dynasty, in 1631. From a builder's eye, the details are worth slowing down for. The heavy timber roof, the carved lattice panels, the octagonal stone stele, and the mythical stone base beneath it. It turns the bridge entrance into a place of memory, not just a place to pass through. The Beijing-Hangzhou Grand Canal was first dug more than 2,500 years ago, beginning in the spring and autumn period. Stretching about 1,794 kilometers, or roughly 1,115 miles, it is described here as the world's longest and oldest man-made canal. The Hangzhou section runs about 39 kilometers or 24 miles, linking historic neighborhoods, bridges, museums, temples, old streets, and canal-side scenery into one long cultural corridor. This stone pillar marks Hangzhou as the southern end of the Beijing-Hangzhou Grand Canal. The carved black route shows the canal stretching north toward Beijing, connecting cities, rivers, trade, and culture across more than 2,500 years of Chinese history. And within eyesight you can see in the background modern Hangzhou. Let's head on over to the other side of the canal and see what's there. Beside the footings of Gongchen Bridge are these stone water guardian beasts. In Chinese tradition, figures like this were placed near bridges and waterways to protect the structure, calm the water, and guard safe passage along the canal. From a builder's eye, their location makes perfect sense, right where stone, water, current, and bridge support all come together. They are part decoration, part symbol, and part reminder that for centuries, water was both a lifeline and a force to be respected. As Wayne enters this traditional Chinese medicine hall, the building feels part pharmacy, part clinic, and part living museum. This appears to be Fang Huchen Tang, one of Hangzhou's old traditional medicine brands. Its history goes back to 1649, during the Qing dynasty, when Fang Qingyi founded the medicine shop in Hangzhou. The name carries the idea of recovery, almost like saying skilled hands can bring spring back to life. Inside, the rows of counters, wooden cabinets, medicine jars, and consultation areas show how traditional Chinese medicine was practiced for generations. Patients did not simply walk in and choose a product from a shelf. A practitioner would listen, observe, ask questions, and then prepare a formula based on the person's condition. Many remedies were made from carefully selected herbs, roots, minerals, and animal-derived ingredients, often prepared as decoctions, pills, powders, or pastes. What makes this place interesting is that it is not only preserving an old style of medicine. It is preserving an old way of trust, doctor, patient, prescription, and pharmacy all under one roof. For visitors walking in from the Grand Canal area, it is a reminder that Hangzhou's history was not only carried by boats and bridges, but also by shops like this, where everyday people came looking for health, balance, and relief. This is the Chinese Fan Museum. It was a pretty extensive walk, so we'll visit it in another video. Be sure to watch for it. On this wall are the characters Zi Qi Dong Lai, meaning, auspicious energy comes from the east. It is a traditional phrase expressing good fortune, blessing, and a sense that something positive is arriving. The two signs over the door are connected. Zhang Da Xian Miao Temple was the older name, while Gongchen Daoist is the current formal Daoist temple name. Local descriptions say the temple honors Zhang Sheng Gui, a Qing-era Taoist associated with healing and charitable acts near Gongchen Bridge. The site was later restored and reopened under the name Gongchen Daoist. On the backside of the wall, the message changes from a blessing into a story. This carved relief shows the canal as part of daily life. Boats moving through the water, people gathered near the bridge, trees, pavilions, and the flowing lines of old Hangzhou. It is not just decoration. It reminds visitors that this area grew around the canal, where transportation, trade, medicine shops, neighborhoods, and local culture all came together beside the water. As Wayne steps inside Zhang Da Xian Temple, the busy canal district suddenly becomes quieter and more reflective. Above the archway, the plaque reads Wei Ling Xian He, meaning that the divine spirit is powerful, awe-inspiring, and clearly present. It is a traditional temple phrase expressing respect for the spiritual presence honored inside this courtyard. Inside the courtyard, the viewer can see traditional temple architecture: stone paving, red lanterns, wooden corridors, carved panels, potted plants, and shaded sitting areas. The main hall contains altar tables, offerings, incense vessels, ritual objects, and statues of Taoist deities. These are not just decorations. They show how temples like this continue to serve as places for prayer, remembrance, blessing, and quiet reflection. Inside the praying area, the altar is filled with Taoist statues, offerings, incense vessels, and ritual objects. The central figure is presented with attendants around him, giving the space a formal and ceremonial feeling. Visitors come here to pray for blessings, protection, health, and good fortune. In a small temple like this, the statues are not just artwork, they represent memory, belief, and the spiritual life of the local canal community. Inside the temple courtyard, the signs identify different devotional spaces. On the left is the Hall of the God of Wealth, where visitors may pray for prosperity. On the right is the Hall of Yu Lao, the traditional matchmaker deity connected with love and marriage. Above the entrance is the phrase Qian Kun Zheng Qi, meaning the righteous energy of heaven and earth, a fitting phrase for a Taoist temple, where balance, virtue, and cosmic order are central ideas. Just south of Gongchen Bridge, Wayne and Pei Fen pass a small restaurant called Heiju, or Shi Jie in Chinese. The name suggests happiness and citrus, and the bright orange display gives the old Canal Street a playful, modern touch. It is a Japanese-style fusion restaurant serving sushi, sashimi, hot pot, and citrus-inspired dishes. For now, they are only stopping for a quick look, but later in the day, they will come back for supper. And after a full day exploring the Grand Canal, the real question is, what will they order when they finally sit down? For now, they will continue walking south on Qiaoxi Street.
This one, no money people stay this one. Old small house. No, everything. No, nice.
What Pei Fen is trying to explain is that many years ago, this area was full of dilapidated houses. A place where people with little money lived. Now, it has been beautifully developed. The carving on this stone explains that the Hangzhou section of the Grand Canal is part of one of the greatest water control and transportation projects in human history. The canal helped witness the rise, development, and eventual decline of Cao Juren, China's old imperial grain transport system. In Hangzhou, the canal stretches from the Jiaxing boundary in the north to the Shaoxing boundary in the south, passing through waterways such as the Shangtang River, Zhang River, Longshan River, and Xixing Canal. This section is especially important because parts of it were excavated early, maintained for a long time, and used continuously for generations. It shows how Hangzhou and the Grand Canal grew together, the city shaped by the canal, and the canal kept alive by the city.
What's this?
Qiaoxi.
You like?
On this alley wall is a plaque for Cao Juren, a famous journalist and writer from Zhejiang who lived from 1900 to 1972. He first came to Gongchen Bridge as a young teenager, but the place became especially meaningful in 1919, when he was a student and joined patriotic demonstrations in Hangzhou. At that time, Gongchen Bridge was more than a bridge over the Grand Canal. It became a gathering place where students and citizens expressed concern for China's future. So this quiet alleyway reminds us that the Canal District was not only a place of trade and daily life. It was also a stage for public memory, student activism, and modern Chinese history. Dengyun Bridge was once known as Do-Fu Bridge, crossing the river near Yaojiaba. Its later name is connected with Sha Shi-jung, a Ming dynasty resident who succeeded in the imperial examinations and rose to higher office. Because of that success, the bridge came to be associated with Dengyun, stepping onto the clouds, a poetic image of rising in life. Now we are heading north again along the canal on Qiaoxi Street, with the canal on our right. Up ahead, we see the big orange ball on the right. That means we're back at Shiju, citrus-themed Japanese fusion dining. With sushi, sashimi, hot pot, sukiyaki-style dishes, and citrus-flavored or citrus-inspired items. Travel posts mention dishes such as a grand sushi platter, cheese chicken, shrimp and kumquat salad, orange pudding, and tiramisu with fresh orange. Let's take a look at their menu. Before they started, Wayne ordered a 630 milliliters bottle of this Asahi beer, to wet the back of the neck. Now let's look at what we have on the menu. Here, we see a variety of items, like yakitori, or grilled items, and tempura, fried dishes. On this side of the menu we see things like their best sellers on the left. Then we have sashimi, sushi, hot pot, and of course a variety of salads. Pei Fen and Wayne really enjoy salmon, so the first dish they ordered was this salmon sashimi. Served on crushed ice with wasabi and garnish. Also, dipped in soy sauce with the wasabi mixed in, can really give it a kick if not careful. From the rice and noodles section of the menu, Wayne and Pei Fen ordered the Wagyu Mapo Tofu Rice Pot, a rich, spicy rice dish with tender tofu, savory sauce, and a soft egg melting into the top. Alongside it came a small bowl of miso soup, a warm and simple side dish that balanced nicely with the deeper, spicier flavors of the mapo tofu.
Sure.
三文鱼 Salmon. I like salmon.
Salmon.
I like salmon.
Mm-hmm.
太好吃了。
What about this? This.
From the sushi section they ordered grilled eel roll with sesame on top. Unagi uramaki. This is an inside-out sushi roll topped with grilled eel, sesame seeds, and a sweet savory glaze.
这是 sauce，
这是什么？
这是man sauce， man sauce。味道好极了，哎呀！
Next on the menu was from the tempura section, truffle shiso shrimp tempura. The green leaf coating is shiso, with shrimp inside, served with finely ground black pepper seasoning. Very crispy, it was Wayne's favorite dish of the evening.
这个叫什么菜？
紫苏虾天妇罗
啊，
紫苏虾天妇罗，
是什么做的？
外面是紫苏叶，里面是那个黑虎虾黄。
哦， 好吃，
好，
好吃，不错。
black pepper.
From the salad section was this colorful salad with roasted pumpkin, greens, grains, blueberries, and cheese. It was called roasted pumpkin grain salad, a sweet-tasting salad to round out the rest of the meal. There was plenty of food for Pei Fen and Wayne. Including the beer, the entire meal cost $43.08 American. By the time the last morsel had vanished from their plates, evening was creeping in on quiet feet. Pei Fen and Wayne lingered at the table, in no hurry to leave, and watched as a velvet darkness pooled across the canal. One by one, the lights of the bridge flickered to life, and the surrounding buildings began to glow, their golden reflections shimmering on the water below. In mere moments, the whole scene transformed, as if the city had slipped into something more elegant for the night. Here along the canal in the evening, we see something very common across China, public square dancing, known as guǎngchǎng. Groups like this gather after dinner in parks, plazas, and neighborhood spaces to follow music and simple dance routines together. For many older adults, it is a gentle form of exercise that helps with movement, balance, and coordination. But it is also social. People meet friends, share the evening air, and turn an ordinary public space into a small community gathering. Anyone can join in, even if you've never done this before, and that is part of what makes it so popular. And just like that, another incredible adventure is in the books. Wayne and Pei Fen walked for miles, saw beautiful sights around every corner, and had so many unforgettable moments that they couldn't possibly fit them all into one video. Honestly, they are happily exhausted, and they still have a 30-minute subway ride before they finally get home. Before they head out, we'd love to hear from you. What did you think of the Japanese cuisine Wayne and Pei Fen tried today? Are you a fan of Japanese food? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you loved coming along on the journey today, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button with the notification bell turned on. Don't worry, there is so much more to come. We can't wait to take you along as we explore more of China's breathtaking beauty, including the Chinese Fan Museum, the Homemade Crafts Exhibition Hall, and the Red Sandalwood Art Square. Until next time, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you soon.